Hello, my name is Coach Wendy, also known as the Purpose Partner. And today I want to share with you a presentation I had the privilege of doing at the NAREB National Convention, which is the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, at their convention in Las Vegas this summer. And even though this was speaking to a group of real estate agents or brokers, there's a lot of nuggets in here that are applicable for whatever business you're in. So success should improve your life, not replace it. Remember that. So as you're building a business while balancing a life, remember that success should improve your life and not replace it. When I was speaking to the real estate realtors and brokers, I knew their world, and I may know your world. I may not always understand every aspect about your world, but the fact that we're entrepreneurs, business owners, there's things that all of us will face. With the real estate agents, that I knew what it was like to have open houses and late night calls and weekend showings and dealing with contracts and negotiations. And even when the deal was going to fall apart, with everything we try to do to keep it. I know your world because I've lived your world. I understand the pressure, the pace, and the passion it takes to win. So let's learn and figure out, how do we build a life that you will love as well? In real estate, there's always going to be another closing. Well, also in business, there's going to always be another deal. So the business never stops asking for more. There's no clock in or clock out. Your phone follows you everywhere you go. Clients need answers all the time and now. Your income depends on movement and that you're continuing to make things happen. And just when you think you can breathe, another client calls. If you are not intentional, real estate or any business will take every space that you leave open. The business never stops asking for more of you. So that means that you have to understand what you need to do in order to build and balance your life. Now, the real risk is you can build a successful business and accidentally neglect the life that you really wanted in the first place and that you wanted the business to support. You may have more income, but less peace. You may have more closings or more deals and less margin. You may have more hustle, but now you have less life. Success should improve your life and not replace it. You have to make sure that you're understanding what are your values, what are your core entities that you need to make sure are always in place. Otherwise, you can risk having a successful business but not a successful life. The big idea is balance is not something you find. It is something that you build intentionally. That means you have to be intentional every single day. Balance does not mean that every area of your life requires equal time, but it means that every important area receives intentional attention based on what is needed at that time. Some seasons require more business. Some require more family time. Some seasons require more healing. It just depends on where you are. Balance changes, but values shouldn't ever change. Always hold on to your core values in every aspect of your life. Now, you got to protect your purpose, which means you got to understand, what is your purpose? I always tell people, learn your meaning to develop your message, to live out your mission, which is actually your purpose. Remember why you started your business in the first place. Remember why you got into what you're doing in the first place. Was it for freedom, for more family time, impact, stability? Do not let the business steal the reason you built it in the first place. When your purpose is clear, your decisions become wiser. Protect the why behind the work that you are doing. And again, if you understand your purpose, your meaning, message, mission, it makes all of this easier to follow up on and put your plan in place. Remember to honor your priorities. Your calendar tells the truth. My husband always says, look at someone's wallet or checkbook and their calendar, and you'll see where their priorities really are. So what you say matters must show up in how you spend your time, energy, attention, and money. Family. Family deserves a place on your calendar. You might say, Coach Wendy, I don't need to put my family on my calendar. They're always a priority, but you will miss things if you don't. Rest is part of a healthy business strategy. And what matters most should not always come last. Put first things first on purpose. Do you have time that you put in for church, for God, for Bible study? Do you have time for family? Establish healthy boundaries. Make sure that you understand that every yes will also require a no. When you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Make sure you have good office hours. Create boundaries there. Have clarity when people can reach out to you and when you're done for the day. Have phone boundaries. Protect your peace. Have family boundaries. Protect what matters. Have vacation boundaries. Make sure you allow time to rejuvenate and recover. And if you don't create boundaries, your business will create them for you. They'll eat it up. Healthy boundaries build healthy businesses. Remember that. Practice strategic grace. Lead with intention, not exhaustion. If you're always tired, if you're not resting, you're not taking the vacations, if you're not having just a mental health day from time to time, you're going to get exhausted. You have to learn to respond and not react. Protect your tone under pressure. Grace is disciplined professionalism. And how you show up becomes part of your reputation. Intentional leaders don't just manage the moment, they elevate it. And remember, you don't have to carry it all to lead well. That's why we have teams. That's why we have support. That's why we have villages. That's why we can talk to our families. And build a legacy, not just a living. Success is measured by what remains, not just what you earned, not just what you closed, but who you loved, who you helped. What kind of life did you build? A living pays the bills, but a legacy outlives the business. You know, when we all get close to that end, we don't think about necessarily, okay, how much is in my checkbook right now? We think about, where are my loved ones? Where are my friends? But what seeds are you planting now? So when that day comes, you have that living legacy that people will be all around you because you cared. Now, let's talk about the boundary question. What boundary do you think you need most right now? Giving an honest answer to that question can protect your peace. It can protect your priorities and your purpose. Boundary questions. So write down one boundary you need to strengthen in your life right now. I know that for me, part of my boundaries I need to work on is making sure that I allow time for not only rest, but for exercise and just healthy choices. So important. So think about that. Because if you don't, you're going to have burnout warning signs. Burnout happens one ignored warning sign at a time. Let me ask you, are you always tired? Are you short-tempered? Do you feel like you can't disconnect, even for 24 hours? Are you losing your joy? Are you running on empty? Do you feel like there's no margin left? You have packed your schedule from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. Pay attention before exhaustion becomes your normal. Because, we can begin to live in ways that seem normal because we end up saying like, oh, I got my hustle on. But no, maybe you're just doing too much. Your new definition of success. I'm not sure what your old definition might have been, but let's look at success should improve your life, not replace it. A successful business should create more purpose, more peace, and more room for you to live the life you want. More peace than pressure, more alignment than overload, more presence than performance, more life, not less. Build a business that supports your life, not one that consumes it all. Because if it's consuming everything that you do, you will not be balanced. You will not have time for the other things that matter to you. And remember, it's important that we have a balanced life. Here's your final challenge. Build an extraordinary business, but do not forget to build an extraordinary life. It's not always about making more money. It's not always about the fact that, you got to have one more deal. Maybe part of it is, especially for me as I've gotten older, I love spending time with my grandchildren, my family, my loved ones. And so building the business I have allows me to do that. It allows me to balance. Now, don't get me wrong. In the beginning, oftentimes it does take a lot more hours and work to build your business, but you've got to get it to a place where it's balanced. And if you need help with that, I'm the purpose partner, Coach Wendy Gladney. Please reach out to me. You can contact me by my email, wendy.gladney@gmail.com, or you can connect with me by going to my website at wendygladney.com and leave me a message. And I thank you so much for reaching out today and for listening and watching this video. So take care and God bless.